Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much. After the commercial break, it's my turn. This is my name, and I will tell a little bit about AI, anti-fraud, data sovereignty, and European tech. My name is Goudapel, and this talk is about the novelty gap. And the novelty gap is newly introduced by AI, and I tell you why. I would like to start with a little clip.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Is there any sound for the presentation?
what a crowd. What an incredible event. Get Moldova, 20credible of a 2025. Truly amazing. First of all, let me just say thank you for having me.
Okay.
It's a great honor to be here.
This is
really,
Trump, of course you know him. He was
a great
welcoming you
honor.
as well, so,
this is a tremendous event. People are talking about it everywhere.
Seconds, and of course it's
Believe me,
and also
nobody does fintech better than
and
you.
He tells that you do great
Nobody,
stuff,
you've got
really
the talent,
because you're all very
you've
cool,
got the ideas,
in the
and
fintech
you've got
community
the
in Moldova.
energy. Just look around.
Then we go to the next slide, if the clip doesn't work. Cybersecurity is strongly related into anti-fraud and vice versa. And before we go any further, I would like to structure a little bit, so we're on the same page, and the same level, so we further understand the presentation. If we look at the threat landscape, of course, in many cases it starts at the targeted groups, APTs, state actors, stuff like that, and then we go through hacktivism, ransomware, cybercrime groups, and eventually leading to maybe your daughter or your son at the attic. And the sophistication level is much higher on this side, and it goes down. And the same appears for the fraud landscape. So there are also persistent groups, structured financial crime groups, and then the non-structural, targeted, professional, and opportunistic. And I'm telling this because the impact of AI is different on every segment that we just have defined. So the sophistication level goes up, and the impact, this is the red arrow, the impact goes down. So for example, the opportunistic threats have less impact, and of course the very sophisticated targeted attacks have a high sophistication level and also a high impact. So these are the segments that we have just defined. The targeted and the impact of AI. AI will make sure that the targeted attacks get even a higher level of sophistication. So for example, AI is used to perform an analysis on the attack surface, or maybe an API of the bank. In general, systems that have a very high level of security, in general. But AI will challenge that level again. So the sophistication level will go up even more at the targeted groups. And this is, I believe, the most interesting, because this is for the high profile companies. But this is of the majority of businesses. So it is the professional group. And they will use AI to scale up. So it will impact the volume and the speed of attacks. And that combination is something that we really have to anticipate. The good news is we can anticipate, but if we don't, we might get in trouble. So we really have to anticipate. Because if the volume goes up, that means something for your organization if you need to reply. Because it's a high volume of attacks to protect on. And in the volume needs processing power. So you really have to anticipate. And the speed goes up dramatically. And this is the novelty gap. So this is in normal life the general trend of attacks. This is what we know, the intelligence about cybersecurity. And there might come a campaign, an attack, and we anticipate, we learn, we mitigate, and then it goes up, and there's another one. And it's more or less stable. During those hires, we learn, we bring it into intelligence, so we're able to defend, we stay in control, which is good. But now think about the professional groups with the high volume and the higher speed. Then it becomes like this. And then it becomes more challenging. Because an attack will go up in a high volume much faster than we have ever seen. And because the speed is so fast, we have lesser time to respond and to defend ourselves. So this goes up, and it will, the amplitude will increase more and more. And this is something that we really have to anticipate. In anti-fraud or in cybersecurity, it applies on both areas. The good news again is, if we anticipate, we stay in control. The average normal anti-fraud solutions look like this. There's a transaction, somebody logs in on his mobile phone, does the transaction, we have an evaluation, analysis, is it all okay? Looks good, not malicious. Then it goes through, and otherwise we deny it. We inform the bank, maybe this is something to look into before you continue with the continuation. This system needs an upgrade when the novelty gap needs to be closed. And we can, of course. And if the attackers use AI, defenders also use AI. Makes sense, but it's something to adapt. So I love the story about my bank. We love AI as well, and we use it and apply it. So the real-time detection, this is still the same. Customer initiates an attack, real-time detection. And this is just a pre-check, so to speak. And then we go into only the suspicious things, go to the AI risk assessment. So we apply AI to perform the analysis. And this is for the volume. Because the volume went up, we need AI. And the volume goes up in more or less similar attacks, because the level of attack doesn't change, it's just the volume. So we need AI to process the volume of attacks. But then still we have the challenges of speed. And luckily there's also a solution for speed. So what we do, we add different dimensions into the real-time detection. So we add an instant forensics, and this is all real-time. So even before the customer starts initiating the transaction, he or she logs in, we already start the instant forensics and doing the analysis of what's going. And we are predictable in what might be malicious or not. So we have the instant forensics. We investigate instantly, many cases driven by AI, but also completed by human power. We learn, we adapt, and we feed this back into the real-time detection. So we add two dimensions, AI in the evaluation and AI in the investigation, to learn, to adapt, and to improve the real-time detection capabilities. So if we do those two measures, we might be able to close the novelty gap and stay in control. And this is the anticipation that I really advise you to do, regardless the systems or the technology that you use, but you have to anticipate what is coming. And if you anticipate, you will be fine. Otherwise, it will be challenging. This is the technology part. But this, of course, requires also changes in your organization. And you might be willing to invest and to anticipate on the peaks. But of course, the peaks are high dimension and very costly. So the advice is to work with partners in your ecosystem, to have people, to have a partner supporting you with knowledge and technology to step in. And this is a contract that we advise you to bring in place, let's say the coming 6 months, because after 6 to 12 months, we really expect the uptake in volume and speed. So of course, it's a technology part, but the technology part is just one part of it. It is about structuring your organization, anticipating a team that has a quick response capacity, added by external capacity, to have also the economic sense of it. And this is very important, and I thought it was very interesting what Julian just said. It is about mindset, and it's about the possibility and the adaptive speed of your organization, whether you learn and you're able to quickly adapt to new threats and anticipate. So this is the main message that we have for AI. There's a novelty gap, anticipate, be aware of the volume and the speed, and you will be fine. But there are more concerns that I would like to pay attention to. Anti-fraud, and in a broader perspective, data, and in a bigger perspective, data sovereignty, is also a key element. So this whole thing of anti-fraud and cybersecurity, of course, is part of geopolitical situation. And we are all aware that the geopolitical situation is changing. Traditionally, geopolitics focus about economic strengths, territory, army, infrastructure, the geographical position of a country. But in the future, and actually now, we already started doing it, and our big friend on the other side of the ocean is already doing it. There are two new dimensions towards geopolitics. And it's about data, information, and it's about tech. To stay independent and to stay in control, we really have to invest into our own sovereignty, our own autonomy on data, on tech, and on information. Because otherwise, we still have the independency. So Julian was right on his talk about the mindset. We have another discussion about, the dependency and the sovereignty of our data. And it's the bank's data and it's the organization's data, but it's also all of your personal data. So it's relevant for everybody. So if we bring this back into the, let's say, geopolitical situation and the geopolitical setting, we have to make decisions on data autonomy and data sovereignty. And this is why data sovereignty is so important. So our suggestion is we have, on a European level, data autonomy, and each country has data sovereignty, where it belongs and where it should be. And it should be in this region, and not in a region somewhere on the other side of the ocean. And this is my talk, and I think we're right on time. So thank you very much. If there's any questions, you can ask me now, but also later. Please feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. I'm happy to be in touch with you. And I want to thank you for your attention and also for staying here at this late hour around drinks time for today.
Thank you.